Fate, omens and prophecies in the Iliad. Fate is a prominent theme in the Iliad, as it is in all circumstances the reason why events take place. In the world of ancient Greece and the Iliad, fate is something that is destined to happen, something that cannot be altered. The Greeks believed that not even the gods had control over fate, and did not decide one's fate, and that they could only change or intervene in the path leading to one's fate. It was believed that the Fates or Moirai controlled fate. The Fates are often depicted as three old stern women: Clotho, who spins the thread of life; Lachesis, who determines how long someone lives by measuring the thread of life; and Anthropos, who chooses how someone dies by cutting the thread of life. Within the Iliad, some fates are already known by the characters. For example, Achilles knows of his fate as his mother Thetis told him that he will either die as a young man in battle with glory, or live a long but inglorious life. Achilles seals his fate by killing Hector and ensuring his early death. Fates are often intertwined within the Iliad, such as that of Achilles, Hector, Astyanax, and ultimately Troy herself. Fate can act like a chain of events, as by Achilles sealing his fate and killing Hector, the fate of Astyanax was sealed, except Hector, being his father and protector of Troy, was no longer there to ensure their safety, and thus Astyanax was made an orphan, as his mother cannot solely protect him. This is linked to the fate of Troy, as not only Hector, protector of Troy as his epithet reveals, is now dead, but Troy is fated to fall, as its next protector in line, Astyanax, lord of the city, is unable to fight as he is only a child. Omens were a common occurrence in ancient Greece and were thought to be messages from the gods. Omens can be read in entrails of sacrificial victims, or more frequently through the movements or actions of birds, which is the case within the Iliad. Omens can either be a sign of fortune or misfortune, and can apply to one person or multiple people. They can also mean different fortunes for everyone involved. The use of bird imagery in the Iliad functions in many ways, as described by Ellen Potter in Birds Breaching Two Worlds in the Iliad. These functions include transmitting future events to mortals, to create direct communication between the mortals and the divine gods, and to characterise the passing of mortals to the afterlife, as well as assisting mortals in their daily lives. An example of omens in the form of bird flight is that of the eagle sent by Zeus to inform Priam that it is the right action for him to seek the return of his son, Hector's, body. Another example is when the Trojans are fighting the Greeks, and when the Greek forces are nearly at the point of defeat. Homer writes that an eagle flies over the left side of the Trojan forces, gripping a writhing serpent in its talons. The serpent is said to bite the eagle, making the eagle drop it, and so the serpent survives. This omen would have been received by the Trojans as the future success of the Greek army as they fight for their life, and loss on the side of the Trojans. Prophecies are predictions of what will happen in the future and are usually told by oracles. In ancient Greece, it was believed that prophecies could come in the form of dreams, either as literal visions, symbolic visions, or visitations by gods, phantoms, or friends. Prophecies could also be told by word of mouth, such as the prophecy told Hecuba that her son would be the downfall of Troy, after she dreamt of giving birth to a burning torch. This son was Paris. Later, this prophecy falls into line after a long chain of events, beginning with the marriage of Peleus and Thetis and the apple of discord. This resulted in Paris deciding that Aphrodite was the fairest goddess due to the bribe Aphrodite promised him of the most beautiful woman in the world, Helen of Sparta, wife of Menelaus. This led to the kidnapping of Helen and the war between the Trojans and the Greeks.